2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Good at midnight, we found the best today, you're watching the show.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, y'all. How
Good
you doing
evening.
tonight?
Welcome to McCracken at Midnight, Brian the Bassturd, where we talk about random stuff that nobody cares about.
How many people, speaking of no one care about, are watching tonight?
Well, we just got 2 more people signed on right at midnight.
Wow, cool.
Yeah.
Well, wow, good timing, guys. Thank you for that.
Hey, look, we totally match still.
Oh, crap. Yeah, me and Sam were out. We were shooting a...
It's better.
If I took
It's
my shirt
chilly.
off, we'd
No,
match
it's chilly.
again.
It's too cold.
Yeah. Me and Sam were shooting a movie all weekend, and at one point, we didn't even get to doing this shot today, but at one point, I needed to be, in a long shot, a dead version of him as he was
As I
dragging me
drag
along
myself
the
away.
ground. It's a fucked up movie. We didn't even get to that, but we're still wearing matching outfits today, which happens by accident off and off anyway.
Yeah, it's
Because we're
it's
like-
no good.
You know, when lesbians get really close, their hormone cycles sync up. It's like me and Sam are like that.
Our laundry cycles sync up.
Our laundry cycles just don't
That's
exist.
true. Did you bring your bag of clothes
I
back?
brought my bag of
Okay,
clothes
good.
back to my parents' house.
So
That's
anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. We kind of have a show for
it.
you.
We actually, surprisingly, we got here. We've been out shooting for 2 days. We're exhausted. We're like, oh, do this shit. We always just did it from our apartment.
I was very asleep tonight for
Yeah.
a while.
And we were like, we're not gonna have a show. This is gonna suck. And we went and we sat down, and we were like, all right, well, let's see, write down what we got. And we were like, oh shit, the show. So it's actually gonna be good. We actually got some show for you guys.
Yeah.
And show. And I don't know, man. And we're gonna dive right into it here. I thought this was gonna be the news tonight was gonna be a reading the front pages of CNN and BBC type nights, but it's actually, I realize it's been a long time since last Monday. And
It has been almost
a lot
7
has
days.
Happened.
Yeah.
Sam, you want to go first? We got no order here.
Yeah, sure. So, you know, a few things happen. We'll start with the bees.
Please.
So in France. Sorry, I couldn't remember what I was talking about there for a second. I'm distracted by Twitter.
Stop that
I'm
shit.
sorry. There was a thing. Anyway, so bees. I'm sure y'all heard about this, but they're beekeepers and commercial bee farms in northern France, I think. Northeastern France. Their bees have been producing unnatural shades of green and blue honey. So, you know, they got their regular honey, and then they got blue honey, which I imagine looks something like, toothpaste or, like, dirty glue.
Well, I'm wondering if it's like kind of, some honey's
Frozen milk.
kind of see-through and some honey's not.
Yeah.
I don't know what level of process that is. I'm wondering if it looks like runny, blue, shiny sap, like melted glass,
Mhm.
or if it's the milkier kind. In that case, it would just look like toothpaste.
Gross. Well, anyway, so so these bees were producing blue and green honey, and they couldn't figure out why. And they realized that there's this waste management plant, like upriver from them or whatever. And one of the wastes basically that this plant takes care of is runoff from the dyed sugar on the coatings of M&Ms. So the blue and green M&Ms, they got this dyed sugar, and they're dealing with the chemicals and stuff like that. And the bees are eating the sugar that's coming out of this plant. They're eating the blue sugar, and they're producing blue honey. And this is kind of a big deal. First of all, just because the bees are going out and finding potentially hazardous waste to consume, but also
this dude put up a link and we couldn't get it. But
I'm sorry. Are you? No, you're not.
Whoever just put up that link, put it up on our Facebook page.
Yeah, put it up on our
I'll find
Facebook
it.
page. They also these same beekeepers had gone out earlier this year. Bee numbers have been decreasing and stuff like that. And apparently, weather's been bad or something like that. The climate's been bad, so they've had to actually give these bees nectar in order, or not nectar, but syrups in order for the bees to produce honey because they haven't been able to find the sugars they need. So now they're going to this plant to find the sugar and producing blue honey. And unfortunately, apparently, this blue honey isn't safe to eat. They're not selling it, which I don't know why not, because it's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, the thing is, this makes perfect sense to me. I remember at the Pittsburgh Natural History Museum,
Mm-hmm. That's what you said.
I believe, Science Museum. There was this exhibit that had wasps in these little cages with paper in there, like construction paper. And whatever color the construction paper was in that thing, they'd build a nest that was that color. It makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
But they oh, there it is. Yeah, pop that up there for them.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, if you can control this, if you realize that this is actually what's happening, and instead of doing it out of waste sugar, you do it out of do it in a controlled way. Like that's a marketing play. I can't believe they're calling this unsellable. Remember when they had the blue and green,
the green and purple mayonnaise and ketchup?
Mayonnaise and ketchup.
That was the worst
It was
stuff ever.
disgusting. It tasted like metal. But it's not the point. It was like a good marketing ploy, and whoever did that made their couple $1 million back and split.
So we got a picture here. Hang on just a second. We have a picture here of the different color honeys. So there's the blue, there's the green. That I'm only assuming is from the brown M&Ms, and I guess this right here is the regular honey.
Real honey? Or it's from the pea colored M&Ms.
Oh, here we go. It's unclear whether the dude believes that the honey is unsellable because of the local product regulations. So, he thinks people wouldn't shell out for bright blue honey. But Americans would, so Americans absolutely would.
Yeah. So
send it over the water, and just shoot it over with a catapult. And screen sharing, so exciting. Send it over with a catapult, and we'll just all eat it up, man. Mm-hmm. I'll eat some blue honey. We got those honey sticks and stuff like that. We got the flavored honeys.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we want fresh honey that is already a different color?
And you become immune to French allergens.
How did the bees know how to separate the colors? Yeah. That's a really good question.
It's just coursing. That's a really good question.
That's a good question. Maybe they went at different times. Maybe it has to do with the time that the plant was expelling the waste.
Yeah.
Or maybe it has to do, specifically with,
a particular hive might be attracted to a particular color?
Yeah.
That's a really good question that we don't have an answer for.
Yeah, because we don't know, what the waste coming out of the plant looks like. It could just look like... it could be bright blue and bright green.
I know the waste coming out of my butt is bright blue and bright green, so...
Well, that's a whole nother... thing. Yeah, that's true. They are... I'm loving this comment involvement, guys. They are really big sticklers for color organization, which is absolutely right. And
bees are just super neurotic.
Well,
bees are like my girlfriend. They color code everything.
Exactly. Well, bees, they use colors to find certain types of flowers that are going to be high pollinators, and stuff like that. So we can only speculate, but almost assume that these colors attracted them for a reason. So maybe these colors attracted different hives of bees, looking for, like Ryan said, looking for the different things. And that's why they went for it rather than, any other kind of stuff around there. Maybe they were really drawn to both its large quantity and
it's also just made of
smell.
Made of friggin' sugar. And
that's what I'm saying.
I don't need to do any work on this. I just gotta chew it up.
You think bees designed the color palette on Photoshop?
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously. Moving on in the news though, this is a big enough thing that my girlfriend needed to text me in the middle of the night to let me know about it. Mr. Bobby Valentine was, and the way she described it, not fired, ousted, like it was a coup d'etat, which it pretty much was. Bobby Valentine got fired from the Red Sox from his position
managing
as
the Red Sox.
General manager. Off his contract. He had another year on his contract.
He had another year on his contract.
And they were just like, get the fuck out.
Yeah, he's done. And he was kind of like, about a week ago, or a week and a half ago, he was like, "Nah, I think I'll be okay. Like, yeah, there's like it's not going so well, but I think I'll be all right."
Well, that just speaks to more to how completely out of touch he is with the team and how
absolutely.
he has no freaking clue what's going on.
So about a week before that happened, Jason Veritek actually got hired as assistant to the general manager in the managing office, special assistant to the general manager or something like that, which is kind of a made up title, and it seems like I don't know.
They might
exactly what that job
They
is
might
gonna
as
be.
well have made it invented the title replacement for the general manager.
Well, hopefully for the manager So hopefully they're grooming him. This is what I'm guessing is that they're grooming him for managing in a couple of years, which would be awesome. In other Red Sox news, though, Terry Francona, who was the manager before Bobby Valentine, the awesome manager for many, many years, he was a really good guy. Retired last year, and that's when Bobby Valentine took over. And he recently took a job managing the Cleveland Indians for next season. So now he's managing the Cleveland. It came out of retirement to manage the Indians. So they gave him a lot of money or something like that. Which is fine, though, because Terry Francona, he's a cool dude. I like the Indians. I'd love to see them get closer to the playoffs or to the playoffs. No, I'm all over that.
I think it's probably more like he's such a stiff dude. I never pictured him as a commentator.
I know. It's weird. I don't
know
what his voice sounds like, to be completely honest.
I mean, it's not his voice is all right, but he I remember they used to show shots of him in the bullpen, and me and my dad would try to see okay, is he gonna make any faces, or is he
just gonna stand there?
Or is he just gonna stand there and have a constant river of sunflower seeds pouring out of his mouth? He just go like some kind of camel, just constantly spitting out constantly. It was hilarious.
You always thought Terry Francona looked and sounded like Tom Morello. That's what you're saying?
He looked a little like Tom Morello.
I guess so.
See it.
Anyway, so that's baseball news. Playoffs are in full swing right now. Yankees are playing the Orioles. I don't care who wins that.
We were saying Yankees and the Orioles. I hope no one wins. I hope the stadium just falls and collapses them.
I think St. Louis is playing the Reds, and that's happening. Other people are playing other people.
But whatever. Red Sox aren't in it anymore.
But Red Sox aren't in it. But I still care because I'll tell you why. The Nationals are in it this year, which is I'm sorry. San Francisco's playing the Reds. Washington is playing St. Louis and just lost 12-4 in Game 2. San Francisco is playing Cincinnati Reds tomorrow. Anyway, lots of stuff going on. Baseball. If you like it, pay attention. If you don't, go to hell.
Here's one I'm super, super excited about.
Is this Tech Talks?
Yeah, kinda. Well, we've got more stuff.
Yeah.
But, Foxconn. Y'all know Foxconn, right? Foxconn is a company. Were they going to answer you there? Guys, answer me. I'll just go with the last person someone said was yes, and that was Tom Morello, but I'll just assume yes, Foxconn. In case you don't, Foxconn is a company, an American-owned company?
I have no idea.
But a white people-owned company, anyway.
Oh yeah, I'm assuming.
And they own factories in China that produce the parts that are sold to Apple to make iPhones.
That's where they build the iPhones.
They assemble them, the iPhones themselves there, yeah, and they assemble the parts, so they've got the whole thing built. But they're not Apple factories. That's the important is because really awful shit happens in these factories. They're famous for their god awful conditions. They actually had in some of the factories, they had to put up nets around the building. I'm not making this shit up. I couldn't think this up if I wanted to. Nets around the factories because so many people were killing themselves.
Yeah, nets around the tops.
People would jump off the buildings, not be able to die, and then they'd catch them theoretically, and then go get back to work.
Yeah, and I mean we gotta understand. What they're doing there is crazy, and they have poor work conditions and poor living and not a lot of pay. But first of all, I don't think the suicides were so frequent that it was we have to put nets up so we don't lose employees, or we have to put nets up because people are jumping off every day.
That's
like
the impression I got.
they like a person jumped off and they put nets up because they don't want anybody to jump off. Like I'd put nets up around my building if somebody jumped off. Like
that's not the story I heard, but the point is it's really pretty severely uncool. And Apple has distanced themselves from this. They're like, yeah, they're making iPhones, but like, they're not with us. They're just over there. And like, dude, you're paying them. And they're like, nah, we got nothing to do with this. And
fun scented like a silly slide. So anyway, so the iPhone 5 came out a couple of weeks ago, and it's in really high demand, and it's also a really, really good phone. It's just a good phone.
Aside from the maps, we've already talked about that.
Aside from the OS, but the phone itself is really good. It's light. It's really thin. It's got a nice big screen on it. It's a nice phone. It's well built internally. It's got awesome hardware that makes it super fast and run real clean. But with all of this comes the fact that it is really difficult to produce, just because it's a complex machine that is very. It has extremely specific specifications. So at the Foxconn plants, these people are putting together iPhones and Apple products all the time. But with these new ones, they've actually, the plants have raised the standards of production to include a higher
standard and rate.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. To include a higher rate of production, as well as much higher. Much more specific qualifications on how the phone goes together. So, like, I read somewhere that it was like, pieces need to be put together with an accuracy of 0.02 millimeters. Like, that's the accuracy that they're requiring for these things. Because again, they're really specifically well-built phones. So it's so difficult, and the production, the call for production is so high that the Foxconn employees went on strike, not because of low pay or living conditions or anything like that, because they literally said, listen, we can't do this. Like, we can't do what you're asking. You're asking for too much. Like, we can't do this. You're asking too much of us. So then a couple days later, Foxconn denied the claims that there were strikes happening.
Like flat out, because we just heard about this. They just said like no, or I just heard about this anyway. They were like, no, there were no strikes.
Yeah, no, they denied strikes.
Now, what else have you read about that? Is that where people?
I mean, that's pretty much it. I'm trying to figure where they are now. Yeah, they striked over labor demands.
Hey, viewers.
Foxconn was like, yeah, there's not any stoppage. Like, it's still going. Apparently had there was a plant that had what this money.cnn.com is calling clashes on October 1st and 2nd between small groups of production workers and quality control personnel.
Whoa.
According to Foxconn.
Sounds dirty. Quality control
AKA
personnel.
train yard bulls for giant factory workers.
Yeah. Yeah. Who do you think I believe, Internet?
Yeah.
You guys know me. Whose side am I on?
So
it actually says that. Read that again to me. Read that quote. I want to hear that shit.
What quote? Oh, blah, blah, blah.
Confrontation. What does
it say? A small group of production line workers and quality control personnel. Clashes on October 1st and 2nd between a small group of production line workers and quality control personnel.
Wow.
I mean, that's...
So, a riot with hired slugs.
No, okay. First of all, hired slugs is in employed slugs. Okay, but, with looking at a kind of abysmal
beatings by Pinkertons.
No, listen. With looking at a sort of abysmal ethical world that this plant exists in, we have to look at it not as in everything they do is absolutely wrong, but as in these are the facts, and we can't really assume anything, because to assume something is to place it unfairly, even if that is what's happening, we don't know that's what's happening. So that places it unfairly in a poor light.
What are
so
the facts,
we don't.
though?
So listen, I don't know, but I'm saying we can't just say quality control specialists are train yard bulls.
But you're saying facts as in this is in the news already through the filter of CNN, and it's in quotes. Somebody said that. It's a fact as in it's something somebody said, but
to assume the opposite though isn't fair.
I think it's entirely fair. I've heard enough, language of that nature to like know what the fuck they're talking about.
That's called conspiracy. Yeah. In any case, that's called conspiracy.
It is conspiracy.
In any case, so yeah, Foxconn striked apparently, but Foxconn denied it. So that's pretty interesting. iPhone 5 standards really high. That's kind of a I feel like assume means you make an ass of you and me. I feel like we're going to be hearing a lot more from Foxconn in the next
I just want to say
5 years.
Really quick about the iPhone 5 too. Great phone, sure. I haven't used it. I'd like smartphones. They're smartphones, and I am not a smart person, so they don't sync up well with me. But I'm sure they're great. But I was walking around in the middle of the night the other night down in Newbury Street. And me and Mark Schwaller, who I think may be a guest on the show tonight, walked past the Apple store, and there were people camped out in front of it to get iPhone 5s. The thing is, if you're going to camp out someplace, the idea behind camping out to get a product or a ticket or something is that you need to be there that early because there's a risk of not getting it, right?
Yeah.
But there were like 20 people out there.
Yeah.
And they're going to get more than 20 phones.
Yeah, but think about it. Those are the 20 people that are going to get them first because when they do get that new batch of phones, they're going to sell out in a day.
Yeah, I don't know. It just like, but this was the day before. I don't think it there was no competition for these people, so they were just sleeping there just because like they were part of the cult.
They just want. Well, it
was hilarious.
That's that this whole standing in line for Apple products thing has gotten totally blown out of proportion, and it's almost it used to be sort of like a cool almost subculture sort of like I'm so waiting in line for movies, waiting in line for Star Wars. It's like I'm waiting in line for the next phone. Like I'm really excited, but it's turned into this like really kind of bloated. What?
Just Ustream user 503897. You're talking like a capitalist pig dog when you say that. No, wait, sorry, the one before
that.
that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What's wrong with communism? I don't know. Someone's bashing communism. I don't like it.
It hasn't worked in the past.
Keep going.
There has been genocide in the past because of it.
Whatever.
In any case, waiting in line for iPhones or waiting in line for Apple products has become like this sort of like bloated, fake, superficial thing where like companies will get people in line, like hire people to stand in line for them. So when news cameras go up to them, being like, "Hey, what are you waiting in line for?" and they'll be like, "I'm waiting in line for the iPhone 5." And I also work for blah blah blah, where you can get the iPhone 5 nice case for cheap. You know what I mean? This is what they have advertisers in the lines now, waiting for the cameras to come up to them.
Hilarious.
Because they know that the news is going to be on these lines, that lots of people are going to be in these lines, so people, word's going to spread of who these people are and stuff like that. It's just that whole it turned in from a geeky thing into this is just common practice and now how society runs.
Yeah. The other thing that Mark said, being a huge hippie, was he was like, people were camping out during Occupy, and in most of the cities, as soon as someone sat down, the cops were on their ass, And it's like, well, these people are camping out for days on end.
Yep.
It's like, next time, we have a sit and build a tent city, we're just going to say we're waiting for the new iPhone.
Yeah.
And who the
in other news, the Dragon X. So y'all remember NASA stopped their space exploration, or their manned spaceflight program.
And we had said however long ago this was that this happened. It was at first we were like, oh, come on, U.S. It's NASA. Don't you like NASA? Remember they won the Cold War for you and that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then we kind of concluded that it was going to be awesome because now, like, this is capitalism at work now. Like,
Putting money to good use.
yeah, putting money to good use. And it has to go to good use because the government, they don't have government money to just fucking throw around anymore. And they need a revenue stream here, which, first of all, probably means more space camp, which I like. And it means SpaceX, Dragon X.
Yeah, SpaceX is the company that has been kind of, fueling, has been at the forefront of commercial space exploration the past, 10 years. And they are the first program to send, and they sent up, yesterday they launched an unmanned vehicle with cargo supplies, carrying cargo. Lord.
Keep trying.
They're going to the International Space Station, to dock with the International Space Station, to take cargo to the International Space Station, because there's still people living there, because it's international, so there are other countries with people there. Other country with people there. So it's the first commercial flight to the International Space Station, which is just really cool. It's just really cool.
It's really cool that there's companies flying around space now.
Yep.
Now, as much as I don't like big companies, I don't like governments even more. So I really don't like anything.
This is when they work.
But this is when
this is when they work.
This is when I like it. This is people actually accomplishing things.
Yeah, space exploration. We've been watching this this program, this show on Netflix called Planets, which is a Discovery. It's Discovery, right?
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's Discovery. It's just a show about about the solar system. But we were talking about it, and I was like, people back in the 60s and 70s and stuff like that, when they were doing all these Voyager and the flights to the moon and stuff like that, people the public was lining up to see the first shots of Saturn and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So they could get a glimpse of these things, of these images coming in from billions of miles away, which is just why aren't people still this excited about science? They'd have press conference, these huge press conferences, and everyone would watch them, or people would go to them, where it would be yeah, we just found a couple of rocks on this moon, we just found Titan, and there was lava there. Whoa, what are the possibilities of this? And people were
with their families, going out to a parade, volcanoes on a moon.
Yeah, so why aren't people still this excited about space exploration? Which is, people are idiots. That's why.
Well, it's because we're not fighting Russia anymore. That's why.
Well, that may be. But now, this idea of awesome space exploration comes back with capitalism and government. This is when it works, because with the money they can, with the government, building the foundation on which a commercial company can come in and fuel the engine that runs it. It almost can't fail.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it totally can. But it's still good. It's good. We like it.
And this is how we get Blade Runner and Alien.
Yeah.
This is how we go to other planets and we all die.
Those awesome.
Which is awesome.
And Red Faction.
Yeah.
More great stuff. All kinds of awesome.
Awesome.
Basically we were right about predictions of NASA getting better.
SpaceX.
I don't know what it is.
No, it's just X, but I like your
X,
SpaceX, X space.
I have a SpaceX.
So anyway, that's
X's live in space.
That's most of the news. If we missed anything,
no. The most important and most hilarious thing is the plus size Taj Mahal in Dubai.
Oh shoot! Right. Oh right. Dubai has got hit with economic downturn just like everybody else did. So they halted production on a bunch of stuff, but they just announced their newest giant project. They're trying to turn this city into literally an oasis in the desert. And it already is.
If you don't know about Dubai, Dubai has the largest host of hilarious buildings, and on the planet.
It's like Monument Beach from Futurama.
And they have even more completely insane ideas for buildings. You're always seeing videos on YouTube tower where every floor spins independently.
Yeah,
I remember there was that one a few years ago, which that never got built.
That was in Brazil.
That was in Brazil. Oh.
I know what you're talking about. That's
Whatever.
In any case.
That's the kind of crazy shit they do there. They have
Dubai's got
cool
some.
buildings.
Dubai's got some awesome stuff. They're trying to build like just a city that is just like this diamond, which I'm all over. Like that sounds really cool, and bringing, especially in the United Arab Emirates, like bringing like tourism and foreign culture to this place that people are really afraid to go. It's on the Gulf. It's in like not a very, politically or like weather climately nice place. But anyway, so Dubai just announced their newest project, which is basically they're going to build a really huge version of the Taj Mahal.
Which that's like saying you're like a really like fat version of John Candy.
Yeah.
Like it's already
pretty big.
Pretty big.
They're building a bigger one. It's going to be a really big
just
hotel
scaled up
with 300 rooms. It's going to have malls and food courts and things to remind people of. And the original Taj Mahal is a mausoleum built to.
I don't remember his name. It was a mausoleum with this dude and his wife. And the whole thing was made to be a monument to the concept of love.
So Dubai's sticking with that. They're going to build this complex to that. And it's around. They're calling the complex Taj Arabia. And so there's going to be the really big Taj Mahal, and then along with this, they're going for a sort of Vegas style thing, but not so cheesy. They're also building an Eiffel Tower, and the pyramids of Giza, and also the Great Wall of China. So they're going to have all these different things. And those things, I mean, like Paris, yeah, it has love, but the other ones...
I also just started putting this together. Monument to Love, Hotel, Vegas vibe. Mm-hmm. People are going to be getting on in
there. Well, yeah.
It's sounding really, really...
Brian, I think if you have any hotel, people are going to be getting
I know, but that's like extra sexy tacky. I like it.
Yeah. What was I saying? Anyway, so yeah, they're building all these really cool... I'm pretty excited for it. It's hilarious. That's why I'm excited for it.
It's a hilarious idea.
They're spending money on just they build all these man-made islands that people can buy and just ridiculously tall buildings.
It sounds like going to Dubai in like 15 years from now, if all this works out, is gonna be like playing Second Life.
Yeah, basically that's what it sounds like. There's just gonna be like random stuff. It's gonna be like Vegas, but more real. Like it's actually gonna be a city. That's what it's gonna be like. So you're gonna walk through like what looks like New York, which will actually look like New York, and all of a sudden there'll be the Eiffel Tower because you just walked through a wormhole, but it's just across the street.
And also, like, Vegas is going to be in the middle of a bunch of bullshit. A bunch of dry, hot bullshit.
Well, yeah. What I think is really impressive about Dubai is that they're building all this on a desert. So, like, they're like... I'm super impressed that they built the tallest building in the world basically on a beach.
Oh, is this still the Petronas?
No, the Burj Dubai.
Burj Dubai? Petronas Towers, right?
No, that's in...
Patronus is from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
What are the towers called?
I don't remember, but those are not the tallest anymore.
I'm pretty sure they're called the Patronus Towers, and I never realized that they have the same name as the spell from Harry Potter. Whatever, I'll let that one slide for now. We'll get deeper into that later.
The sands will swallow it up. But anyway, I'm impressed that they haven't swallowed it up yet, is what I'm saying. So anyway, that's news for tonight. We're going to move on to art and stuff real quick.
That was a really long news.
That was a really long news. We're going to move on to art. Wow, it's a really long news. Yeah. We're going to move on to art and stuff real quick. It's just a short thing. I found this funny junk the other day. A woman named Kelly Kerrigan has been painting funny things. Pictures of Star Wars characters holding bunnies. That's all it is.
And there's some weird stuff. There's Chewbacca in a clone trooper mask.
There is?
Yeah, to the left.
Oh yeah, there's Chewie in a clone trooper mask. There's a bunny with a rebel pilot helmet. There's just...
so some of them are just these things. Go up. There was a weird thing up here. Some of them have nothing to do with anything. Like, what's this thing with the tape?
Yeah, it's just like birds over it with worm over a tape. That's from Yo Gabba Gabba. That's the dude that gets his arm cut off in the cantina. That's R2D2 with the head of a leopard on top. That bird's just saying what's up. Like I love when artists that are good at painting do just like random crazy stuff that just is like.
See,
what is that's like a goat yelling to a duck.
This
what is
to
that?
me is what like. This is what hipster culture is trying to look like. This, but the difference is this is awesome.
Yeah, that's a bantha. It's a big bantha.
Oh, it is.
Just hanging out.
Almost realized.
There's Boba Fett holding a bunny. There's a bunny with Boba Fett just posing. Yeah, I really like these.
Yeah, these are great.
Anyway, check this out, KellyCarrigan.com.
Real quick, let's find the image of Magneto with chickens.
Okay. Magneto with chickens.
It's gonna sound. I don't know who painted this, but it's in the same kind of universe of material. Is it not showing up?
Mm-mm.
Try chicks.
I don't know if that's something.
Or are we gonna find Magneto porn?
There's Magneto making out with Rogue. That's gross. Here's chicken sitting on a dude's crotch.
Okay.
No, we're not finding it.
Yeah, fuck it. I'll have it some other time. But anyway, that's some weird stuff. What's her name again?
Kelly Carrigan. KellyCarrigan.blogspot.com. Check that stuff out. We'll put it on the website. It's just some funny junk. Do more weird stuff, painters. Do more weird stuff that just
More
makes us
weird
smile.
shit. Yeah.
Stop trying to be so serious all the time.
Yeah, I know, right? Art. Fucking crap.
Right, Taipei. That's where it was.
Taipei. Where was Taipei?
That's the buildings.
The
Taipei 101.
the maybe
The
called
towers.
the
I think so.
Patronus Towers.
Or maybe that was just one. Anyway, moving on. What is going on there?
He's puking and there's an arrow coming out of his belly button.
Oh, that's his mouth. I thought that was his mouth.
No.
It's like a fetus that's throwing up.
Hey, yeah. So I there's been all these stop motion features coming out recently. I figured we'd touch on this. I haven't seen Frankenweenie yet.
I haven't either.
For those of you who don't know, I figured I'd just touch on this. I'll let you know more when I see it, because I will. But Frankenweenie, there was a short made, I guess, probably sometime in the late 80s by
Mark, get down here.
by
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton, and it was about a zombie dog. The kid's name was Victor. I think it was kind of loosely associated somehow with his other stop motion short, Victor, which was the kid who was pretending to be
Victor Price.
Vincent Price. God damn. I'm crashing. This is the end of my night, guys.
No, it's not. Keep going.
Anyway, they made it into a feature. Tim Burton directed it. I don't know who does the animation. I don't know anything about it, hardly. But there's a kid brings his dog back to life, and I've heard it's like, cool. But kind of just makes you want to watch the original. There's a real quick update. I'll let you know more when I see it myself and do a little reading on it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So
time for our guest tonight.
We're gonna bring on a guest star. He's in a band called Melodigo. He lives here. He's basically almost been on every show we've had at the Monkey Palace. And we're finally gonna have on Mr.
Oh, I shouldn't be on yet, right?
No, get the hell out of here.
All right, I'm not here.
You're right there. Stand right there. We just gotta get you a chair. I'm just gonna talk about you.
All right.
So one time he was standing around and he was wearing a green shirt. He wears a lot of shirts. So anyway, he's in this band called Melodigo. They play some awesome environmental rock. They are good. I like them. I've seen them play a couple of times. They're all right.
They're okay, you know. Like,
they're okay. Anyway, Mark Schwaller, everybody, come on to the show, Mark. Yay!
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Mark.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
Good.
So, welcome to Care Questions. Questions that care. How are you today?
I'm feeling beautiful. How about yourself?
I'm also feeling beautiful. otherwise, I'm just kind of okay. But I'm feeling beautiful.
It's good. It's not,
Ryan,
it's not
how are
about how
you,
you
Brian?
actually are. It's more about how you
I
feel.
feel like complete shit.
Brian is a butthole.
I just
Brian
wanna
the
go to
butthole. Okay, so Mark, tell us about Melodigo and what you guys are doing in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. Mostly the reason I had you on because I was like, hey, so what's Melodigo doing? And you're like, oh, all this stuff. It was like, oh, really? Well, you can't tell me because I gotta go do a show.
Okay, so
But,
I'll tell you now then. Melodigo's got a lot of cool shit happening. On October 21st, well, yesterday we were supposed to do the longest bike-powered concert ever. The weather had something else to say about that, so we're going to do it on October 21st.
You know, we were supposed to make a movie yesterday, and it rained, and we made the fucking movie anyway.
Yeah,
so,
even some people tried to tell us that we shouldn't have done it in the rain, but we did it anyway.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are clearly more hardcore than me. I actually melt in the rain. It's a very rare disorder.
Well, I remember
I've
something
heard of it.
happened last time you played in the rain. That wasn't that good.
Yeah, no, last time we played in the rain, I lost some equipment and had to drop some money to buy new stuff. So we opted out of doing that yesterday. But on October 21st, starting at noon, we're going to set up and we're going to play until our hands fall off or until we pass out or until we break the record, whichever happens first.
12 hours, right? Is
12
what
hours.
you're shooting for?
Yeah, well, we set up the event thinking, like, oh, who else is going to have, like, set a record for the longest bike-powered concert ever? So I put it on Facebook, and sure enough, this guy shows up out of Oregon. And he's
Of course.
I played a bike-powered concert for 6 years.
And he's basically like, 11 hours, 12 generators. Beat that. We're like,
Jeez.
well, shit. All right, we'll do 3 generators for 11 hours and 1 minute, and then you got to come back at us and beat us with that one. But yeah, so October 21st, you should come out. We're gonna have some people come out and do some like Chinese rope dart. And, there'll be some other cool things happening. We'll try to get some people out with some hula hoops and just fun.
McCracken at midnight is gonna be there.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Represented.
That's true. Yeah, we'll have McCracken at midnight on the scene. They'll be handing out autographs, from what I hear. Actually,
Yes, absolutely.
We'll set up a table.
I'll sign
I'll
my
sign your
own
boobs.
shirt for people.
Yep.
I'll
You know,
give
you
my
can
shirt.
sign. You all can sign.
You can
our
sign us.
shirts.
Anyway, I'm gonna be there. It's also I love going to the Melodico concerts just because the bike powered thing is like it's just an awesome thing to have at like a concert. Like just sitting there and you're riding a bike and it's powering the music. It's just a really cool kind of neat thing when you're there.
We like to think like, you know, sometimes you go to a concert and you're sitting there and you watch the band the whole time. It's like, no, let's make this a participatory experience. So you can come and you can get on the bikes and you can power all the sound that you're hearing. And if you decide that you don't like us, you can make it so you can't hear us at all anymore.
Stop pedaling.
Power's in your hands.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Do you guys have anything else going on?
What else has happened? We're doing a really big gig in Maine on November 13th with the one and only Bill McKibben, who's kind of a environmental rock star. He's basically one of those guys. He's out there on the front lines all the time, motivating people and trying to get people in different towns and cities and overseas as well, just really excited and really engaged in the climate movement. So he's going to be speaking up in Maine, and 350 asked us to come up and play, which is pretty awesome. It's I'm still kind of like, I can't even say anything about it. I'm so blown away.
I can vouch for Bill McKibben being the man. I've seen him speak a couple times. I've met him very, very, very briefly. He is in fact a rock star.
He's like this 6'4", really lanky.
He looks a little like James Carville, who looks a little like Doctor's VG from Gumby, and who also looks a little bit like a praying mantis.
Yes.
Hopefully one of those will mean something.
So
to
if you like James Carville, Gumby, or praying mantises, you'll probably like Bill McKibben.
I like all three. Awesome. What did you have for lunch today?
For lunch today, I had vegetarian chili and rice.
Awesome.
It was delicious.
Brian, you have any carrot question?
Mark?
Yes.
Hey. No, I fucking don't.
Suppose, Mark, that you had the opportunity to add an extra body part that isn't an arm or a leg. What would that body part be?
Extra butt.
Extra butt.
I
And why? And where?
I figure that would only increase my metabolism having an extra poop chute to have things come out of my body.
Yeah.
So,
well, is that connected to a whole nother digestive system?
that's a good question.
Or
actually.
is it just branch out right at the end?
Yeah, you're like a cow, but after the two stomachs, it still divides even further into
two different butts. Yeah, it would make the bathroom situation a little tricky.
It would. Well, when I talk about having two butts, it's usually right above my other butt.
Oh yeah.
So like you gotta like kind of lay across the
I can
toilet,
see that. Yeah,
kind of like that.
Well, it's
and
good.
if we get a recliner toilet.
Here's the thing: I slouch really bad anyway, and I like slouching. So if I can slouch while I poop, that's so good. Those are like two of my favorite things: slouching and pooping.
Well, what if you kind of lose control while you're in the middle of it, and you start using your other butt by accident, and you're kind of like, then you're like, you gotta come out of both.
But if it's connected to
I know, but there's
muscles.
food in both of them, man.
No,
there's food in both of them.
But it's a different set of muscles though that you're controlling, and it's not like when you're sometimes if you like. You ever been on the highway and you're like, I could pull over. You really gotta take a leak. You really gotta take a shit. And you say, I could pull over on the side of the highway, but if I took a leak, that whole area loosens up and I take a shit.
Yeah.
The thing is, you're not in your abdomen so much anymore with your upper butt. It's a different set.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying you lose control. I'm saying you lose control.
Then that's a risk anywhere.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. Like, what happens then?
What happens when you lose control? Like. At any point, like at work, at school,
I turn into the Hulk
during McCracken at midnight. You can just, if you're worried, you
can
go through your whole life worrying about pooping, Sam. Regardless of how many.
I go through my whole life. That's my biggest fear is pooping. I'm just in general, pooping in general.
Well, it begs the question too: would you have independent control of each poop chute, or is it something like, some people can move their eyebrows independently, some can only do one at a time.
Only do one at a time. So you can either do both, or you can only do the top one.
Right. So it's, again, just adding more complications to the bathroom situation.
Well, where would your butt be? We know where Sam's butt would be. Where'd your butt be? I like that I've had now separate conversations with both of you, because we've done this before, about where extra butts would be.
Oh, really?
He had this idea way before you.
Oh, okay.
So.
All right, well, I guess I pictured my butt being, like, next to my butt. Like, just, like, extending my hips so I could have, like...
So you'd have, like, two butts?
Right.
Like, side by side?
Kind of like a butt per leg kind of thing.
Oh, weird. And they'd wrap around a little bit, so you kind of have a glute like right there.
Yeah, you probably would. Like, you'd have to get those funny pants that, like, directors in, like, the 30s wore.
Yeah.
I have a small enough butt I could probably fit two. Just.
Well, think about it. You also have, like, your hips are twice as wide then, too, to fit the double sphincter action, you know what I mean?
Are we talking about, do your bones, like, do you have two tailbones?
No, your hips widen up a little bit, and the tailbone goes in between the two butts.
The tailbone's inside. Okay. So I guess, like, the outside cheek on both butts would be, like, extra squishy.
What about in the middle? Do you have one cheek in the middle, or do you have, like, two cheeks side by side that has its own crack?
It's a good question. Is it, like, two separate butts, or is it, like, a double-decker butt?
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know.
This is just too complex.
I'd feel like that middle crack would need actually a third butthole. But then you're wondering if that needs its own cheeks and it just expands like that infinitely.
I'd keep stuff in there if it didn't have its own butthole. I'd like keep papers and pens in there.
It would get sweaty.
I don't care. So does my ear.
I don't know if this rabbit hole has an end.
No, it doesn't. Swish! Tommy Money. What's up, Tommy Money?
I don't know if I'd have an extra butt. We say no
arms or legs.
Arms
or legs, yeah.
I think I'd have to have a mouth.
An extra mouth?
A hidden mouth.
A hidden mouth.
So I could eat while I was doing shit.
I'd put one right here on my thigh so it could be in my, and I could like just slip food into my pocket.
That's exactly right.
That's good. I like that.
See, I'm all the way on the other end. Maybe the other mouth goes to the other butt.
Yeah. A completely independent digestive tract.
It could just be like
super short and just for flavor.
Going down your leg. Maybe the other butt's in your heel. A tiny little butt in your heel. So you're feeding this, and then you're just taking a dump.
You're
like brushing your teeth and taking
just put your foot over the toilet while you're going.
I like this plan.
Woof. That is just too much. All right, Mark. What is your favorite vegetable and why?
My favorite
And
vegetable.
how?
I have to go with broccoli.
Also, when?
It's my favorite vegetable is broccoli.
Okay.
It most times, except for occasionally, I will pick carrots over that.
Okay. Let's stick with broccoli for now.
Okay. With broccoli, I think I like it because it does taste pretty good, and it also kind of looks like a brain.
Yes.
So it's kind of fun to just pretend like I'm eating like a small monkey's brain or something the whole time.
That's awesome.
A monkey's green brain.
Yes.
Yeah. I get that more with cauliflower.
It's true, but I don't like cauliflower.
Cauliflower
that's
is so
too bad.
good. You bake it with some cheese on there.
Okay, now with the broccoli again, how and when?
How? I like it raw and often.
Raw and often. Both
Yeah.
very. That's how I like it too, baby. Raw and often. Awesome. Hey, Germany, how you doing? I hope that you're someone we don't know, and you'd be like the first person ever to watch McCracken at midnight
We didn't
under your own volition.
personally go beg/coerce into watching our show.
Spread the word, man. Our show's awesome. Or it's not really,
What?
but spread the word anyway.
Okay. Follow-up question about broccoli.
Yes.
Stems.
Yes.
Because I've had long arguments about whether you eat the stems or not.
I'm
The stems and the greens and the leafy parts
Right.
below the flower.
I'm okay with the stems. I'm okay with the greens,
Mhm.
but the brain part is definitely the best.
Yeah.
I like the stems when it's cooked just right, when it's steamed just right. The stems are really sweet.
Yeah.
yeah,
that's what I
like
like
the
about it.
stem in a stir fry is
Yeah.
like
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
It was a good follow up, Brian.
I know what I'm doing.
Dude.
You're pro.
What else?
I have a question.
Okay.
What am I drinking out of? Because I was drinking out of this and I looked down and I put it down and then I realized that completely without trying to, I put my bottle down next to an identical bottle that was already sitting where I went to put it down. So what the hell?
It's a Mass Energy Consumer Alliance.
Swag.
Yeah, it's swag. This is actually, we can bring it back to Melodigo. This is actually an organization that Melodigo will be playing for this Saturday at the base of a windmill in Medford, Massachusetts.
Wow.
Oh, no. Like a wind turbine?
Like a wind turbine. Yeah, not a
Okay.
windmill.
Yeah, Sam doesn't like wind turbines. They frighten him.
No.
Only
There's
the
like-
really giant ones.
There's like a whole crew of people I know.
I just
a
don't
lot
like
of
'em.
people are terrified
They're
of
just.
wind turbines.
I'm not like terrified. They just freak the
They
crap
think
out
they're
of me.
gonna start shooting
It's like
lasers out.
it's
of
like
the
a
middle.
fucking tripod coming up over the hill, and it's gonna suck me up into its little undergut. No, man, I don't like them. They spin at like 700 miles an hour. That's what you don't realize. They're going so fast.
And they go, oh,
Yeah,
oh, oh.
You do.
I love them. I think they're cool. I want them all over my backyard.
I think they're awesome, but terrifying. They're like, it's like I really want to have sex with a bear, but it could claw me. So like I don't actually want to have sex with it. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that fear.
We're learning more about your bear fear every day. It's actually sexually based.
Yeah, it's sex based. I'm terrified of them killing me, but only because I'm
It's
attracted
a form
sexually.
of sadomasochism, actually.
That is a severe catch-22 you were in.
It really is. Anyway, yeah, wind turbines. They're only the really big ones. They go really fast,
Yeah.
and they're terrifying.
The best was Sam saw for the first time the one in Hull recently,
I
which
did
I was
up
actually
close. Yeah,
helped my dad do the surveying on when he was doing the environmental surveying
Oh, wow,
before
yeah.
they built that. And I was like, look at that thing, Sam. And he was like, fuck no. But then I was like, but look, there's a little baby one next to it. And like that one's set back off the road. And then there's a community center there that has like its own little thing. And it's
Little
like this
dinky
little
one.
like 12-foot tall one. So it's like they're reproducing.
yeah.
Like they're spawning. And
They're
there's just
spawning.
more of them popping up.
That's the worst is when you see the fields of them, though. Like, I've driven through just giant fields
Yeah.
of them over hills in upstate New York and stuff like that, where you come up over a hill, and all of a sudden you, like, see it rise out from behind the hill. And it's just like, you keep going over the hill, and it just keeps coming up. It's just giant. And then finally you get over the hill and you see the bottom of it.
That's what I remember the first time I saw one, because like in West Texas, it's the same thing. They're just like miles and miles of wind turbines, and you see him off the side of the road. You
Wait,
think,
wind turbines?
when
I'm picturing a dude in a turban, and the wind is blowing it, and this is actually, they have like a diode hooked up to it that's producing electricity. And there's a field of them, and that's actually how they're like powering a city, just dudes with turbans.
All right,
Sorry.
I think we need to send this to MIT immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's right up there with the cat that you drop out the window. You know that
Yeah.
one?
I don't know this one
Well,
either.
cats always land on their feet, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And buttered toast always lands butter side down. So you take a cat and you strap buttered toast to its back, butter side up, drop it out a window, attach a diode to it. It falls, it stops a foot above the ground and spins
infinitely.
infinitely.
I was gonna say, I think you just created perpetual energy.
Perpetual motion, perpetual energy. Draw that shit. Tap it.
I think it's drawn. We just need some duct tape.
So hey, it's pretty late in the show. It's time to start singing the comments, actually, because we gotta end the show and go to bed. And we're inviting Mark here to stay and sing the comments with us because we hadn't actually had a guest star sing the comments with us in a really long time.
I think we kicked the guest out before we did it.
I know,
last
which is
week.
stupid.
Bad idea. So we're gonna start going. Give us one.
Yeah, hey guys, all 5 of you that are left, you gotta keep commenting because
Just
we gotta sing the comments now.
Inane shit. You know what to do. We're gonna backtrack a little bit.
Oh, that's not right.
We're gonna start at Middle East Disneyland here. Middle East Disneyland. Switch off. So you take this one.
Where the Patronus Towers were the tallest in 1999.
They are in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
They were bare by the Taipei 101 and now the Burj Dubai.
And the picture makes me so happy.
Greetings from Germany, smiley face.
Hello, Germany.
Hi, Germany.
The stems are the only good part.
Harangue,
Harangue orange.
do not fear the Grange.
Only strange grain.
Only strange Grange.
Harangue orange grain.
Grange. Only strange Grange.
I feel the harangue orange grain on harangue.
Harangue.
Wine only when it's lame. Vying
Hooray.
for fame.
Vying for fame.
The Lane Grange harangue the orange for fame. When it's lame.
Vying for fame when it's lame in the strange Grange.
But we're all the same when we're vying for fame, and it's so lame.
Hello, Germany.
In the rain.
In the rain.
Guys, list words that rhyme with rain as fast as you can. There's like a million of them.
What rhymes with rain? Tell
Aside
me.
from lame,
And fame, but they're all the same.
and there's a stain.
I can't read these anymore.
Pain,
In my brain.
sane.
What else rhymes with rain?
The pain, the same. There's a stain. The lame rain. We're all the same. Vying for fame when it's lame. The only strange Grange.
Lame in the rain. There's a stain, bane, sane. Lame in the rain. There's a stain, bane, sane.
And a cane.
And a cane.
It's a lame cane. And Bob
And Bob
rhymes with Bob rhymes with strange.
strange.
Wow, that was
That was
a whack of a song, guys.
We're doing
How do we get to Bob? What?
Bob rhymes with sane. So
Yeah, totally.
let's
I'm
say the
going to
Commenteers.
guess that was a Max Carlton move.
It may have been.
That gets
It's entirely
my,
possible.
I
Hey,
like to, I
everybody.
like to pick those out as often as I
The
can.
Max Carlton moments.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Check out our website that you hopefully are on right now. There are links to other things at the top that you can look at. Tune in next week to watch us do.
I think we're gonna put up pictures
more stuff
on the website, maybe of our movie we've been shooting this weekend. The production stills.
on
You
the
can
blog,
See the shit sticking off my back.
on the news page.
Sam broke into the Monkey Palace yesterday and stole supplies.
I did. There were people sleeping everywhere, and I was just like, "Hey, I'm just stealing stuff."
It's true.
They were like, "Whatever."
So check out the website McCrackenatmidnight.com and start the party.
Yeah. Have a great night, everybody. Goodbye.
See you next week.